Well, the special tribunal set up by President William Ruto and chaired by Justice Aggrey Muchelule to probe the conduct of 4 IEBC commissioners has finally handed its report. We have that plus a lot in this broadcast, including tonight, President William Ruto tells public servants that extra constitutional persuasions undermine the spirit and the letter of the Constitution.
It is an opportunity for one to discharge their innocence and to present facts. And it is also an opportunity for the country to be seized.
As he receives the report recommending the removal of Irene Masit as an IEBC commissioner.
That the allegations of serious violation of the Constitution and other laws and gross misconduct have been proved to the required standard to qualify our recommendation for the removal from office of Commissioner Irene Cherop Masit.
Health workers protest against the employment of universal health coverage workers on a contractual basis, giving the government just 2 weeks to act or they strike. Also tonight, lack of enough teachers to teach grade 7 learners in junior secondary schools is affecting the quality of education as the smooth implementation of the CBC curriculum runs into headwinds. Well, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us for this broadcast. My name is Eric Munene. Now, the Justice Aggrey Muchelule Tribunal probing Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Commissioner Irene Masit has recommended her removal from office. In a document addressed to President William Ruto, the 5-member tribunal stated that its allegations of gross misconduct against Masit had been proven beyond reasonable doubt. The suspended commissioner was the only one left in the IEBC after former chairman Chebukati, that is Wafula Chebukati, former commissioners Gulie and Moluboyo exited following the end of their 6-year term. Have a look.
Monday at State House, Nairobi, the tribunal appointed by President William Ruto to consider a petition for removal of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC Commissioner Irene Masit handed in its report with its verdict. In a document to the President, the tribunal's chairperson, Justice Aggrey Muchelule, recommended that Masit be removed from office after it concluded its sittings, where it stated it found Masit to have committed 2 of the 3 offences listed by the petitioners who called for her ouster from IEBC. The offences include allegations of serious violation of the Constitution and the law and the allegations of gross misconduct. While receiving the recommendations, President William Ruto reiterated that IEBC remains to be an independent body that should not submit to whatever influence from any quarter, and anyone found liable to that should be subjected to the dictates of the Constitution.
It is an opportunity for one to discharge their innocence and to present facts. And it is also an opportunity for the country to be seized with the issues so that when a determination like the one you have reached is arrived at, it is not on the basis of rumors or prejudice, it is on the basis of facts and evidence.
In its ruling, the tribunal that was chaired by Justice Muchelule and which comprised of Caroline Kamende, Linda Gaki, Matthew Njaramba and Said Hamis Said concluded that on gross misconduct, Commissioner Masit was faulted for agreeing to a proposal to moderate the results of the presidential election to enable a rerun with the promise of a reward. Masit was found guilty of attempting to undermine and erode public trust in IEBC by proceeding to Serena to issue a press statement disowning the results despite participating in tallying and verification of the same results. However, Muchelule and his team refused to declare Masit incompetent, explaining that it is not determined by one incident but a series of events that demonstrate a lack of ability and qualification to discharge the duties of the office.
That the allegations of serious violation of the Constitution and other laws and gross misconduct have been proved to the required standard to qualify our recommendation for the removal from office of Commissioner Irene Cherop Masit.
The Muchelule Tribunal conducted its proceedings with more than 10 witnesses appearing before it to give their own account of events in the run-up to the declaration of presidential election, among them the immediate former IEBC chair Wafula Chebukati and Commissioners Abdi Guliye and Boya Molu. The petitioners also wanted former IEBC Vice Chairperson Juliana Cherera and Commissioners Justus Nyang'aya and Francis Wanderi sacked. However, the three tendered their resignation from office before the hearing of the petition began, and hence the cases were dropped. The four commissioners rejected the final presidential results announced by the then IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati, saying the final tally was arrived at in an opaque manner. Meanwhile, ex-chairperson Wafula Chebukati, Moya Bolu, and Professor Abdi Guliye stayed in office until the end of their term. Mwigi William, TV 47.
Well, and our sign language interpreter for this broadcast is Rhoda Mwende. The Supreme Court ruling on the right to association by the LGBTQ community continues to raise mixed reactions in the country, with Maendeleo ya Wanawake organization being the latest to react on the matter, even as the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula poked holes on the ruling. Collins Lusweti with that story.
The ruling by the Supreme Court on Friday last week seems to have rattled many. The Apex Court in its ruling said that despite homosexuality being illegal in Kenya, members of the LGBTQ community still have a right of association. Further, the court indicated the refusal to register them was discriminatory and contravened the law. Maendeleo ya Wanawake is the latest organization to follow the decision by the Supreme Court. Led by its chair Rahab Mwikali, the organization termed the ruling as unfortunate and a great mockery to women in the country. The organization has vowed to oppose the same-sex relationship in the country.
Pia tunashangaa huko ndani hawa wakubwa watoto wao washaoana hivyo. You know, would they want to see their children? A boy, your son bringing you another son. And now this is I don't know what. Your daughter bringing you and this is what. Surely, whose children are supposed to go through this? You know, the vulnerable, our grassroots women leaders do not understand what this language is. And we feel it. And we feel very pained because we have no answers for them.
Religious leaders in the country also calling on the Supreme Court to reconsider the ruling, saying it will erode the accepted norms and morals.
We need to stand firm and say no to this kind of idea that is being imposed in our nation. Yes, we know people want freedom, but it is good to value what we call the standards and the values of the culture.
National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has also poked holes on the ruling on his social media pages. He noted that Kenya is a deeply religious country and called on individuals, including public institutions, to uphold, defend and protect public morals. A section of Kenyans have also weighed in on the matter.
Kindo hata vile nitaanza kuexplainia yule mtoto wangu ambaye ako darasa la 6 ambaye ako CPC kwamba kuna ndoa ya mwanaume kwa mwanaume. Mimi nimeshindwa nitatumia matamshi gani kumuongelesha mtoto wangu aelewe kwamba hii ni nini.
Collins Lusweti, TV 47, Nairobi.
Well, moving on now, the more than 150 billion shillings pending bills owed by the counties might have accrued as a result of overestimation of devolved units' on-source revenue collection. Now, members of the Senate County Public Accounts and Investments Committee have now cautioned governors against overestimating their on-source revenue collection due to perennial failure to meet set targets. Mike Kagongo reports.
The special report on pending bills by Auditor General reported a total of 152 billion shillings as total pending bills owed by the counties, out of which 45 billion shillings were declared eligible and 107 billion shillings were declared ineligible. With the increasing amount of pending bills, members of the Senate County Public Accounts and Investments Committee have cautioned county chiefs against setting their goals high in revenue collection, which later turns out to be a shortfall. According to the committee, overestimation of revenue collection has clearly turned up to be the root cause of the high pending bills being experienced in the devolved units. Out of the stock of 46.2 billion shillings eligible pending bills, a total of 22.2 billion shillings has been paid so far, representing 48.2% of the total eligible pending bills. The outstanding balance is therefore 23.9 billion shillings. This coming on the backdrop of the Auditor General's report on Nyeri County, where a 1 billion shillings target for 2019-2020 financial year was missed. Nyeri ended up collecting 664.5 million shillings, with the situation replicated in all other counties, which missed the targets. According to the Controller of Budget, counties' own source revenue has financed only about 9% of counties' yearly budget in the last 10 years, but this could be more than 50%. Nairobi and Mombasa can finance their annual budgets if full on-source revenue potential is realized.
Governor.
Nairobi County Governor Johnson Sakaja told the committee that most counties were behind for a period of 2 months in remittances from the National Treasury, and that the county has been able to pay salaries for its employees from revenue collected, unlike other counties. Sakaja told the committee that he inherited a mess in the financial management of county affairs, and he is struggling to correct the mess.
Even if they go to City Hall now, all of them, into that office and come through the computers, you will not open anything. It will not be available. This system was closed and migrated by the NMS. Why don't you then direct the executive office of the president to give this information? You have the powers to
just a minute, Governor. So I really want to sympathize with the governor. He's telling us that where he sits, his hands are tied. Dr. General may not be expressing the same, but we live in this country.
The Nairobi governor revealed that the handing over of assets and liabilities from Nairobi Metropolitan Services to his administration was a matter that was still under discussion, and that they were trying everything possible to ensure that they are on the right track. Nairobi City, Kiambu and Mombasa counties have been enlisted as top counties with the highest amounts of pending bills, with 9 billion, 3 billion and 2 billion shillings respectively. Mike Kagwongo, TV 47, Nairobi.
On to a related story, Bungoma County Governor Kenneth Lusaka has hit back at the control of budget over today's report on governors who are accused of misusing public funds, terming it as a misleading information. Speaking at Bumula Center in Bumula constituency after launching free fertilizer and maize seeds to over 20,000 needy students ahead of the planting season, Lusaka stated that all counties are facing challenges in balancing development and recurrent expenditures. Lusaka says that as the Council of Governors, they are going to address the matter at the national level, urging the control of budget to stop giving what he said was misleading information.
Governors wote wanataka maendeleo, lakini counties zote Kenya hii tuko na changamoto ya balancing mambo ya development na mambo ya recurrent expenditure, kwa sababu tuko na wafanyikazi wengi. Wengine tulipata walikuwa kwa county wa local authorities, na wengine ambao hatuwezi sasa kuwafukuza tukiholela namna hiyo. Hiyo pia wataenda kotini. Kwa hivyo yule control of budget naye akiandika, asiandike vitu ambayo inakuja kumislead the nation, but we are going to address it at the top. Tunaenda kufanya hivyo. Nila ward inaenda kupata mifuko 500 ya mbolea, mahindi kilo 10 na top dressing na ile ingine ambayo watapanda nayo. Na tumeuliza wakulima wetu waziuze hii mbolea ambayo tumewapatia. Nia ya kufanya hii ni kuwezesha tuwe na food security katika kaunti yetu, kwa sababu njaa ni kitu ya aibu. Hatutaki watu wetu wapata aibu ati hawana chakula. Na sisi Bungoma tunajulikana kama bread basket ya kaunti yetu ya Bungoma.
Put measures in place, muhakikishe kuwa armyworms ama vitu vingine zozote zisije zikaharibu chakula yetu.
Tuhakikishe tunapanda vizuri kwa wakati, tunapalilia mahindi yetu vizuri, tunavuna na kuweka vizuri ili tuweze kuangamiza njaa. Maana tukiondoa njaa kwa manyumba zetu, hiyo kwanza ni hatua ya kwanza ya maendeleo.
Now, the lack of enough teachers to teach grade 7 learners in junior secondary schools is affecting the quality of education being delivered to learners. Some leaders are concerned with the lack of teachers and are calling on Teachers Service Commission to move with speed in addressing the matter through employing more teachers. saying it was absurd for TSC to expect one teacher to deliver more than 10 subjects taught in grade 7, I beg your pardon. Our senior education reporter Sharon Baranga with that story.
It is almost a month since grade 7 learners reported to junior secondary schools, but some learning institutions are already facing teething problems such as lack of enough teachers. Garissa is one of the counties facing a shortage of junior secondary school teachers. Leaders from the region want the Teacher Service Commission to employ and deploy more teachers in the region, saying the lack of teachers is affecting the quality of education being offered.
We have a shortage of teachers in this county because of the exodus of the previous, of what have been happening in the security situation in the town. We will be asking the Teacher Service Commission, especially on this transition of from class grade 6 to junior secondary. We have one teacher in each school, which is not adequate enough to teach 14 subjects. Some of the teachers are arts teachers and some of them are in these schools. So tunaomba Teacher Service Commission wahakikisha ya kwamba we have adequate infrastructure for 100% transition as the government requires, and also for teachers to be deployed into these schools.
Speaking from Iftin Ward in Garissa, Deco says learning is not taking place for grade 7 learners in the region. TSC recruited more than 30,000 teachers for grade 7 learners. Each class received one teacher who is expected to teach more than 10 subjects. Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
Our team comprising Joint Health Workers Union today took to the streets to protest against the extension of universal health coverage staff contracts for another 3 years. The health workers who presented their petitions to Parliament and Senate threatened to go on a nationwide strike should the government not respond in the next 14 days. Our health affairs reporter Zainab Mohammed with more.
The peaceful demonstration began at the Green Park bus station and headed to Afya House, where the health workers sought audience with Health CS Susan Nahumicha.
The people that we are having here are actually earning half of what their counterparts, who they are working with, is earning. So they have worked for 3 years with a salary where you cannot even be able to maintain a family and take your kids to school. And now, after they fight COVID-19 and it's gone, or almost gone, then the reward that they are being given is to continue with the same exploitative terms.
The efforts, however, bore no fruits, and the health workers proceeded to Parliament buildings, where they successfully handed over their petition to Seme legislator and Parliamentary Health Committee member Dr. James Nyikal and his Molo counterpart Kimani Kuria. The two lawmakers assured the health workers of their support and promised to champion the petition in Parliament.
We must have a system, whatever we call it. People have been resistant to the issue of Health Services Commission, but now we must put a structure in place that will ensure that when health workers are employed, wherever they are working, in whichever county they are working, they work under exactly the same conditions.
The last stop was at the Senate building, where the health workers handed over their petition to Nandi Senator Moses Cherargei, who expressed his dissatisfaction over the neglect of health workers' plight by the government.
As a country, we might reach a position where we need to redefine and even have a conversation of National Health Service Commission to look into the issues just the way TSC, Teacher Service Commission, is doing, just the way Parliamentary Service Commission is doing, the PSC, the police, and many others. Why is it that the health force, which ensures our health as Kenyans, including the ordinary hustlers, do not have that opportunity of having a commission?
The health workers have now given the government a 14-day notice to address their issues, or else they go on a nationwide strike that may cripple health services countrywide. Zainab Mohammed, T47.
Moving on, the Ministry of Trade has cautioned foreign investors against using Kenya as a dumping ground for cheap products. Speaking during an investment forum, the Trade Permanent Secretary, Juma Mokwano, hinted on the government's plan to impose higher taxes in products that are locally being sold. Andrin Kilemi with that report.
The The announcement to shut down the Chinese-owned retail shop China Square has elicited mixed reactions among Kenyans, with the Ministry of Trade now warning foreign investors against using Kenya as a dumping ground for their cheap products. In a tweet, Trade and Investment Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria said, and I quote, "Kenya is open for business but is not open for dumping," a statement that was echoed by his Trade Permanent Secretary Juma Mukhwano, who was speaking in an investment forum in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County, that aimed to strengthen the trade sector.
There's nothing illegal about selling products from outside, but we are saying it is that practice that has actually killed our industries. It is that practice, because remember, for every product that you import, you are actually exporting jobs. So if you import a shirt that we can make here, you're actually exporting a job. So instead of paying a Kenyan to make your shirt, you're now paying somebody from India. So if you think about it from a logistical point of view, we have a lot of young people that are jobless. So why are we importing things that we can make?
Juma further hinted at the government's plan to impose higher taxes on goods sold locally in the country.
We are even imposing higher taxes on some of these products to discourage us from importing things that we can produce. And I think that's the basis upon which our CS is working upon. Our priority as a country is to create our own industries, to make things that we can make, so that we are not exporting jobs, because we have created unemployment by importing things that we can really make in this country.
However, Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Korir Sing'oei has expressed support for China Square owner Li Cheng in response to Trade Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria's proposal to lock out Chinese traders from the business. Whether the Chinese retail supermarket is a threat to local traders now remains a debate, even as Kenyans wait with bated breath for the reopening of the outlet, which has since shut its doors after complaints from rival traders. Andrin Kilemi, TV47, Nairobi.
To matter security now, Turkana County Woman Representative Cecilia Ngitit has called on Turkana residents to embrace the ongoing security operation in the area. Speaking while attending a funeral service in Nawoitorong, the woman representative praised President William Ruto for sending enough soldiers to carry out security operations and criticized leaders who do not support the operation. The MP has asked President Ruto to ensure bandit attacks are brought to an end since the bandits have declared war on innocent civilians.
Kushukuru His Excellency the President kwa sababu ya hii operation yenye iko hapa Turkana sahi, yenye iko hiyo corridor ya Turkana South. In fact, hiyo operation imechelewa. Ilikuwa inatakana iwe sahi iko mwaka ya pili ama ya tatu. But better late than never. Nataka kushukuru President kwa sababu ya hiyo operation. Mimi nasikia ati kuna viongozi sahi wanajaribu kupanua midomo ati wakiopose operation. Kwa hivyo mnafurahia wakati watu wanauawa. Mnafurahia wakati Waturkana wanapoteza mifugo yao kila siku. Bwana asifiwe. Kwa hivyo mimi ninataka wakazi wa Turkana tu support serikali kwa hii operation yenye inaendelea. Lazima operation iendelee. Hii bunduki za haramu sitolewe kwa sababu sasa hatuwezi endelea hivi. Lazima hiyo mambo ya banditry, maneno ya kuua watu na kuiba mifugo ikome. Kama vile wewe unasema ulituambia watajua hawajui. Hebu hakikisha hawajui. Na sisi Waturkana hatujashindwa kujilinda. Acha nikwambie hatujashindwa. Ni vile tulinyang'anya bunduki zetu na popote hawakunyang'anywa sao. Na sisi tunataka kusema kama serikali imeshindwa
Well, moving on, Chief Justice Martha Koome has today inaugurated a small claims court in Meru County as part of the court's efforts to bring services closer to the citizens and to handle financial disputes not exceeding 1 million shillings. Speaking during the inauguration, Koome said that the construction of the court aimed at improving justice for all Kenyans. One of the benefits of the small claims court includes low costs of hearing and also the fast determining of commercial and personal injury claims with a value of less than 1 million shillings.
Because it is a means of expediting the cases that we have and to ease the way of doing business. If Mama Mboga is supplying goods, cereals or whatever she has, to somebody who owes her 100,000. That is enough for her to close the business, isn't it? But now with the small claims court, she can come here and file. She'll be assisted to file, and the case will be heard within 60 days. She will have a decision and a decree to go and attach that person. And we are attaching, including money in the M-Pesa, so that the debts can be paid. The small claims court has moved justice closer to mwananchi by addressing high cost of filing and defending suits. I am informed that through the small claims court, one can file a claim and pay as low as below 1,000 as filing fees. I am aware that the court is also more friendly to be unrepresented litigants by relaxing most of the rules of procedure, which have been a big challenge to many who wants to access justice.
Well, moving on, contractors who won tenders to construct competence-based curriculum CBC classrooms during former President Uhuru Kenyatta's regime are lamenting over unpaid dues for the work they did. The contractors, led by Rioba Bokobora, have said they have completed the work they were given on time, but since then, they have not been paid for the same.
London hadi imepita mpaka 1,000 service ya gari yangu.
Nyinyi mko opposition. Sisi tunapewa bilioni 1 nijenge hii mapera.
Na sisi kama contractor tungependa kulaumu sana kwa sababu pesa zetu zimekaa muda mrefu asijai kuja. Tulifanya CPC first phase, na tulipofanya CBC first phase hakuna pesa tumepata mpaka saa hii. Kuna wale wengine wamepata, walilipwa. Wale wengine walipolipwa, wengine wakabaki, na kuna retention pia. Hiyo retention hatujaipata mpaka saa hii, na venye retention ndio faida ya contractor mpaka saa hii hatujapata. Alafu tukafanya tena second phase ya CBC. Mpaka saa hii tuna miezi 6 hatujalipwa pesa. Alafu hizo pesa ni za loan. Sisi ukiona hawa ni vijana, ile pesa ambao wako nayo ni pesa ya loan. Kutoka saa hiyo tunadaiwa interest. Sasa hata kama sasa hiyo CBC sasa hata hakuna faida, mpaka tunataka kuwa auction, vitu yetu tunataka kuwa auction. So tulikuwa tunaomba serikali kupitia waziri wetu Machogu atusaidie tulipwe retention na pesa yetu ya CPC.
Jinsi walikuwa wameadvertise nikawini hiyo tenda, naomba wanirudishie, wanilipe malipo yangu ili niendelee kufanya shughuli zangu. Hiyo kazi nilitumia 1,300,000 hiyo ndio pesa nilitumia, lakini ninatarajiwa kulipo 1,100,000, kumaanisha faida yangu ni kama 100,000. Na hiyo ukiangalia muda ambao umekaa sasa, hata sitarajii faida. Mimi naomba tu nirudishiwe ile pesa yangu ambayo nilifanya, sababu hakuna faida sasa.
Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua today held an engagement forum with members from the Association of Kenya Feeds Manufacturers at his Harambee Annex office. The discussion centered around lowering the cost of production through lowering the cost of animal feeds. The Kenya Kwanza administration, he said, is focused on growing the country's economy with agriculture as its backbone. The DP has called on stakeholders in the agriculture sector to continue with engagements until an actionable and verifiable formula to deal with the issues in the sector is found.
Mimi ni mtetezi wa wakulima, I'm also one. And the way to grow this country and to get out of the hole we are in is to increase agricultural productivity. It's the only way. And the only way we can increase production is having farmers who are happy. The people who are unhappy cannot be productive. And this country will grow if our agriculture is right. If the farmers are happy. And once they are happy, they are productive. And once they are productive, it increases our GDP. But if we have a lot that is so unhappy, that has given up in life, there will be no production. We believe in continuous engagement with stakeholders, because you can't go wrong. The president is of the opinion, and rightly so, that a good idea should give way to a better idea. And a better idea ultimately must give way to the best idea. That you can only get through a stakeholder engagement. Nobody knows everything. It's when I meet you, you enrich my thinking. You meet me, I enrich your thinking. We get to be better people after this meeting. So I'm available, I'm here. Anytime, need to consult. Yes, is here, we have.
At 29 minutes past the hour, time now for a very short break. We'll be back with more. Don't go away.
Sonadol Extra imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli kupambana haraka na maumivu ya kichwa, mwili na hata meno. Sonadol Extra, hakika maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
As you enter a new phase of life, you may seem lost until you discover the passion within.
I'm happy that MKU decided to open a branch in Malindi to make work easier for those parents who have never been away from their kids or children.
That's all the equipment that I need to study and all the facilities that I need.
Since we have one of the most beautiful and ultra-modern structure.
Join us at Mount Kenya University and Equip Africa Institute Malindi Odell Center to build your future. Intake in April for electronic learning and May for distance learning. Mount Kenya University.
Unlocking infinite possibilities.
Mount Kenya.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Trisim School of Medical Health Science and Technology is a premier training institute for market-driven courses. With state-of-the-art facilities, competent and dedicated members of staff, and linkages with the medical industry, you are assured of a bright future when you study with us. Enroll today in our campuses at Juja, Nairobi West, Kisumu, and Homa Bay.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. The ruling United Democratic Alliance UDA party has named Embu Governor Cecily Mbarire as the interim chairperson. Mbarire takes over from former Machakos Senator Johnson Muthama, who resigned to serve as a member of the Parliamentary Service Commission. Former Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala has been appointed as the interim Secretary General. Malala, who was recently shortlisted for the position of Chief Administrative Secretary, takes over from nominated Senator Veronica Maina. The party is expected to commence a month-long membership registration drive on Wednesday to April 30th, 2023, ahead of its grassroots and party leadership elections.
This is going to be a party that is going to accommodate all views, divergent views, views that are going to build this country. As I take up this opportunity to be the Secretary General, I am alive of the fact that as a government, we have an agenda that we promise the people of Kenya. My role and the officials of this party will be to ensure that we monitor the progress of the promises we promised the people while we were campaigning. We shall be monitoring the legislative promises that we had made during campaigns. We shall work closely with the leadership of the legislative arm. We shall also be monitoring members of the executive, the cabinet secretaries, the permanent the PSs.
Now moving on, insurance firm Britam has partnered with Voltic to roll out a digital personal accident cover to Ena Coach customers. Britam Holdings PLC and Voltic Kenya technology company are offering ticket automation and parcel management solutions within the transport sector through their IEBC digital platform. According to Ena Coach CEO Richard Mogire, the offering provides travelers a coverage of 50,000 shillings on accidental medical expenses, 15,000 shillings on ambulance services, and 200,000 shillings in case of death or disability emanating from an accident during the duration of their trip at no extra charge.
Voltic is a technology company that has focused in providing innovative solutions to the public transport operators in the market. So we've built an ERP that enables public transport operators to automate all their services from ticket bookings, route and fare management, checking revenue on the fleet they have, and tracking all the revenue from their different customer touchpoints till the money hits their bank accounts.
It means a lot because we are coming in handy, because sometimes, most of the time, we cannot avoid accidents. They are there to happen, and we are trying to assure them that once it happens, then we come in handy to assist them in the first few days, so that they can get back to their feet as they follow up other insurance companies, which normally takes a long process.
The partnership we are launching today entails giving our customers comfort as they travel in all the Ena coaches, and providing them with an insurance cover that takes care of them in case of any unfortunate incidences like accidents. Customers are able to access medical care, evacuation services, and ambulance services to ensure that they are taken care of and their medical needs are catered for. We've been able to work on a solution that does not entail our customers paying any additional costs. All they need to do is pay for their bus tickets.
Our former students of Ndonga Primary School in Matinyani, Kitui constituency offered to pay school fees for students who excelled in KCPE, leaving them gratified. The alumni gave affirmation to the school that they were ready to help the needy students who will display good performance, and also asked for support from parents and teachers to ensure that the learners are disciplined.
If you make it to be in the top 10 in St. Angela's, every time you are in the top 10, I'll pay your fees.
Ni afadhali wapatiwe hilo nafasi hiyo ya kusoma na hiyo support ambayo wangehitaji kuweza kufaulu, kuendeleza masomo yao na kufaulu.
Kwa siku nzuri, wale walisomea hapa ndio walihifadhi hii siku, na watoto nimeona wamefurahia, wamekuwa na siku ya kukumbuka, haijakuwa kwa muda mrefu. Walimu pia wamefurahia, wamezawadiwa, wazazi pia wamefurahia wakiona watoto wao wakipata zawadi.
Now, the youth have been encouraged to have long-term investments such as land to provide for themselves economically and to reduce the burden of tax payments. Addressing the media in Githurai, Kiambu County, the director of Kwachua Park, Simon Kamau, said it is time for the youth to stop enjoying luxuries and continue saving money that will enable them to be financially successful at a young age. While the young people form a large group of taxpayers, Kamau has encouraged them to start saving as little as possible with the aim of owning a house, because this will make them afford other costs such as school fees for their children easily. However, they have been warned to be more careful when buying land to avoid losing their hard-earned money to dishonest persons who are out to plant seeds where they did not plant.
Watu siku hizi wamejiingiza kwa michezo mingi ambao wanapata pesa, wanaenda kwa anasa ama wanaenda kufanya mambo ambayo mwishoe watakuja kujuta. Pati kwa mpango huu, ukipata ploti yako, hata kama hutajenga, utaiweka. Tunajua kwamba ploti huwa inapata value muda ukiendelea. Sana sana vijana Kama saa hizi ukinunua ukipata hii plot yako baadaye ama kwa mwaka mmoja miaka mbili itakuwa imeongeza value na hata utaiuza kwa bei ya juu, na unaweza hata kujenga nyumba yako, boma yako, ama pengine hata kufanya biashara. Sana sana vijana na watu wa chini, ya kwamba kila mtu anaweza kuanza mpango. Tumeona kwamba watu wengi wamekuja na mambo kama haya, wanapatiana pesa. Sisi tumeamua kupatiana mashamba ili tuweze kuonyesha hasa vijana na watu wa klasi ya chini ya kwamba unaweza kujinyakulia shamba. Kianza kuweka pesa yako kidogo kidogo, unaweza kujipatia mwishowe shamba. Na tungeomba serikali kwanza itupunguzie ushuru, sababu watu wamekuwa wakilalamika na hata sisi, na ndio maana unapata hata watu wengi sana wamekosa kupata shamba. Na pia watushiriki katika kila jambo, kama wako na event yeyote watushirikishe kama sisi, ili tuweze kuhamasisha jamii na watu wote ya kwamba kila mtu anaweza kuwekeza na kila mtu anaweza kujipatia shamba lake. Tunafurahia kwamba siku hizi hata serikali huwa inafuatilia.
Moving on, smallholder tea farmers diversification program continues to be financially boosted by the Kenya Tea Foundation in Nyamache sub-county. 480 farmers in 16 groups got an extra 1.5 million shillings to strengthen the economic activities meant to complement proceeds from tea sales. During an inspection of the groups, the foundation's chairman Sudi Matara gave a speech at the Nyamache and Itumbe tea factories and disclosed the objective of the program, stating that the move for economic empowerment resulted from the realization that 90% of farmers had 0.5 acres of land where they practiced farming.
Today we are here to celebrate about 480 farmers who are in about 16 groups. And these groups came together through training in 3 areas around social dynamics, where we were dealing with issues around conflict management. Then secondly, we looked at financial literacy. And thirdly, we trained them on entrepreneurship. And in line with the strategy and vision of KTDA Holdings, one of the things that we've said is that we need to put more money into the pockets of the farmer.
Very happy that KTDA Foundation has come handy to work with us. We have worked together, we have connected, and we have been able to have our farmers being trained, and they have been able to look at financial plans. They have looked at various social issues, conflict, violence, gender violence, and I think to us forward as a vision, we are very impressed, and we want actually to continue working with the KTDA Foundation.
Well, time now to get the latest from the world of sports, and I'm joined by my colleague Dennis Otieno to give us what is the latest from the world of sports. Manchester United won yesterday, by the way. The first silverware in how many years again?
6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, the last time Manchester United won silver was in the year 2017. It was in the UEFA Europa League, and that was the time when Jose Mourinho was the manager of Manchester United. I mean, such a long time ago.
Such a long time.
Yeah, and that's why so many Manchester United fans are celebrating the Carabao Cup, and the opposing fans from all these other clubs, are going ahead with memes on social media saying that it's such a small title to celebrate that much. They're teasing Manchester United fans, saying that you think they've won the UEFA Champions League. But I mean, after waiting for 6 years and winning the Carabao Cup, it's no mean feat. So we can only say congratulations to Manchester United. I mean, that was a brilliant performance coming up against a very informed Newcastle side. It was absolutely amazing.
As you're saying, the fans of those other teams that we are not going to mention here, but you know the usual culprits, they went from friends of Newcastle to it's such a very insignificant cup within 30 seconds. Did they get to ascertain whose goal it was actually? The first goal?
Yeah.
Marcus Rashford, was it?
The first goal was scored by Casemiro, a header, which at some point was reviewed by VAR. They really were looking for all possible situations to take away that goal from Manchester United, but it seemed like it was onside according to VAR. The second goal was scored by Marcus Rashford.
Oh, the second one is the one we're talking about.
Yes. So people saying it was off a deflection from a Newcastle player, but when you look at what Carabao, the organizers of the tournament have put on their website is that it is Marcus Rashford who scored the goal. So it was not a deflection. To the delight of Marcus Rashford himself, because he's a player that has been described as being on top form, and he would want to have as many goals to his name as possible, looking to join the iconic players like Cristiano Ronaldo, who's the all-time top scorer. So you look at the age of Marcus Rashford, he definitely want to soar to such heights and retire from the game as such a legend who scored as many goals as possible.
You've mentioned Cristiano Ronaldo. Of course, Cristiano Ronaldo, before you take it away, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, of course they are aging.
Yeah.
I think the likes of Saka, who's this guy again? Rashford and let's say Mbappe are going to fill in those big shoes?
Absolutely, and you've done an amazing job in naming the prospect players who are actually going to take over and run football for the next decade. This is Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka and Kylian Mbappe, who are doing so well on the football front and showcasing what they have. So we're here to see if they're going to surpass the mark that was set by Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. But I tell you what, Eric, we have so much lined up for you on sports tonight.
Not just football.
Not just football. I mean, we'll definitely be talking about the FKF, Football Kenya Federation, and what they intend to do in order to upgrade matters women football in the country. Of course, that among many other sports stories lined up just for you.